How are you guys doing? Today is Saturday, September 11th, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review everything that happened from yesterday, Friday, September 10th, and of course, I'm going to go through everything that's about to go down today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. And I realized that in the last video that I recorded today for yesterday, I already covered the college football game from yesterday, but I guess I'm going to start this time going through it again as we look at what happened between 17th ranked Coastal Carolina and unranked Kansas. Long story short, unranked Kansas fell really short of the mark. 17th ranked Coastal Carolina would run away with a 49-22 win. For Coastal Carolina, their leading passer, Grayson McCall, threw for 245 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the ground, their leading rusher, Reese White, had 102 yards on 14 carries and 3 touchdowns. Additionally, their leading passer, their quarterback, Grayson McCall, also ran for 16 yards and a touchdown. So he had 261 yards along with 3 touchdowns of total offense. And then their leading receiver, Javon Haley, would finish with 122 yards on 6 receptions and a touchdown. On the defensive side of the ball, their leading tackler was Braden Matz, who had 9 tackles for himself. And with this win, the 17th ranked Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are now 2-0 on the year. Unranked Kansas is now 1-1 to start their college football season. Looking forward to what's going on today. First-ranked Alabama is going to face off against unranked Mercer. Second-ranked Georgia is going to face off against unranked UAB. Third-ranked Ohio State is going to face off against 12th-ranked Oregon. Fourth-ranked Oklahoma is going to face off against unranked Western Carolina. 5th-ranked Texas A&M is going to face off against unranked Colorado at Colorado. 6th-ranked Clemson is going to host unranked South Carolina State. 7th-ranked Cincinnati is going to host unranked Murray State. 8th-ranked Notre Dame is going to host unranked Toledo. 9th-ranked Iowa State is going to host 10th-ranked Iowa. 11th-ranked Penn State is going to host unranked Ball State. Unranked South Florida is going to host 13th ranked Florida. 14th ranked USC is going to host unranked Stanford. Unranked Arkansas is going to host 15th ranked Texas as Texas looks to try to fight their way into the SEC. 18th ranked Wisconsin is going to host unranked Eastern Michigan. 19th ranked Virginia Tech is going to host unranked Middle Tennessee. 20th ranked Ole Miss is going to host Austin Peay unranked. Unranked BYU is going to host 21st ranked Utah. 22nd ranked Miami is going to face off against unranked Appalachian State. 23rd ranked Arizona State is going to host unranked UNLV. 24th ranked UNC North Carolina is going to host unranked Georgia State. And last but not least, 25th ranked Auburn is going to host unranked Alabama State. And that's going to be the slate of college football games going on today. Taking a look at what's going on in the MLB, starting with what went on yesterday on Friday. Starting off in Wrigley, the Chicago Cubs hosted the National League leading San Francisco Giants, and the Giants would end up beating the Cubs 6-1 to pick up their 91st win of the season after the Cubs scored the first run of the game in the 4th. For the Cubs, the start went to Kyle Hendricks. He only allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits and 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The loss would go to the Cubs' first relief pitcher, Trevor McGill. McGill would allow 3 earned runs without registering a single out, and with this loss, he's now 1-1 on the season. In the Cubs batting lineup, the only player to register a hit at all was their first baseman, Frank Schwindel, as he went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. The Cubs were only able to get 2 hits, and they were both from Schwindel. For San Francisco, the start was given to Dominic Leone. Leone would allow no earned runs in the first 2 innings of the game as he struck out 2. The win would go to the Giants' 4th relief pitcher, Camilo Doval. Doval would allow no earned runs in 0.1 innings pitched as he was finished out the 6th inning. With this win, he's now 2-1 on the year. In the Giants batting lineup, their first baseman Brandon Belt would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. he would hit his 22nd home run of the season. Their right fielder, Lamont Wade Jr., will go 2 for 4 with an RBI. Their shortstop, Brandon Crawford, will go 2 for 4 himself with a run. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 91-50. That is the best record in the National League West, and that is the best record in all of baseball at the moment. They've won their last 5 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10 games. Their 5-game winning streak is the longest winning streak in baseball at the moment, as the Blue Jays winning streak got snapped. They have now won 7 of their last 10 games as they sit 2.5 games ahead of the second place LA Dodgers in their division. Right now, they're holding the number 1 seed in the National League playoff picture over the 2nd seed Milwaukee Brewers leading the Central, and they are sitting over the Atlanta Braves, who are currently leading the 3rd seed in the National League East. With this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 65-77. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They've lost 2 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 22 games in the division. Jumping out to Pittsburgh, staying within that division, the National League Central, the Pittsburgh Pirates hosted the Washington Nationals, and the Nationals were leading the Pirates 3-2 going into the bottom of the 9th. The Pirates would score 2 runs. First, Colin Moran's ground out would tie the game at 3, and then they walk-off single from Ke'Bryan Hayes would give the Pirates their 51st win of the season, winning it 4-3 over the Nationals. For the Nationals, the start was given to Josh Rogers. Josh Rogers would allow 2 earned runs in 6.2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. The loss would go to the Nats' second relief pitcher on the day and their setup relief pitcher, Patrick Murphy. He allowed 2 earned runs in 0.1 inning pitch as he started off the 8th inning but would get pulled out. With this loss, he's now 0-2 on the season. In the Nats batting lineup, however, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their first baseman, Josh Bell, will go 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 26th home run of the season. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start was given to Steven Brault. Brault would allow 2 earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. The win was given to their closer for the day, Chad Kuhl. Chad Kuhl would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter, and with this win, he's now 5-6. In the Pirates batting lineup, their third baseman, Ke'Bryan Hayes, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Their left fielder for the day, Anthony Alford, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He would pick up his 5th home run of the season. With this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 51-90. That is the worst record in the National League Central. That is the 2nd worst record in the National League. They've won 3 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 35.5 games. And alongside the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Pirates are one of 2 teams in the National League who have officially been eliminated from playoff competition. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are now 58-83. That is the worst record in the National League East. They have now won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They now trail the Atlanta Braves by 17.5 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Baltimore, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Orioles would halt the longest winning streak in baseball at 8, as they would beat the Blue Jays 6-3 after the score was tied at 3 after the Blue Jays tied it up in the 6th. The Orioles would create separation in the bottom of the 7th off of a 3-run home run from Anthony Santander that would win them the game. For the Toronto Blue Jays, the start was given to Robbie Ray. He allowed 3 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 8. The loss was given to the Rays' second relief pitcher on the day, Julian Merryweather. Merryweather would allow 3 runs in 0.2 innings pitched as he was unable to strike out a batter. He would start the 7th inning but not finish it. With this loss, he's 0-1 on the season. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, their all-star second baseman, Marcus Semien, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. Their all-star shortstop, Bo Bichette, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI. And their left fielder, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., would go 2 for 4 with a run. For the Baltimore Orioles, the start was given to Chris Ellis. Chris Ellis would allow 1 earned run off of 5 hits and 5 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The win was given to the Orioles' second relief pitcher, Connor Green. Green allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched. He would finish the 6th and 7th innings. He would pick up his 2nd blown save of the year, but with his win, he's now 1-0. And he also, like I said, he struck out 3. The save was given to the Orioles closer, Cole Sulser. Sulser allowed no earned runs in the last 2 innings of the game as he struck out a batter. He picked up his 7th save of the year. In the Orioles batting lineup, their right fielder, Austin Hayes, would end up going 2 for 5 with a run. He was the only player on the day that finished with more than 1 hit. With this win, the Baltimore Orioles are now 46-94. That is the worst record in the American League East as they've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 41 games in the American League East as they are one of 2 teams in the American League who have been eliminated from playoff contention alongside the Texas Rangers. With this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 77-63. That is the 4th best record in the American League East as they've only lost 2 of their last 10 games. They trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 10.5 games in the division as they also sit half a game behind the New York Yankees as the first team on the outside of the American League playoff picture looking in. As, like I said, they trail the Yankees by half a game. Jumping out to Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies hosted the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies would beat the Phillies 11-2 as they scored 5 of their 11 runs in the 9th inning before the Phillies could score both of their runs in the bottom of the 9th. For the Phillies, the team that was almost shut out, the start was given to Sam Coonrod. Sam Coonrod would allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 1 batter on the day. The loss was given to the Phillies' first relief pitcher on the day, Bailey Falter. Falter would allow 3 earned runs in 0.1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. That was the only out he got. With this loss, he's now 2-1 on the season. In the Phillies batting lineup, their second baseman, Gene Segura, will go 2 for 4. Their elite right fielder, Bryce Harper, will go 2 for 4 with an RBI for himself. And then for the Colorado Rockies, the win was given to their starting pitcher, German Marquez. He allowed no earned runs off of 6 hits and 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, German Marquez is 12-10 on the season. In the Rockies batting lineup, their first baseman, CJ Cron, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 27th home run of the season yesterday. And then their left fielder, Sam Hilliard, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run for himself. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 65-77. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 26.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 71-70. That is the 2nd best record in the National League East as they've lost their last 4 games. They've lost 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Atlanta Braves by 4.5 games in the division. They now trail the San Diego Padres and the Cincinnati Reds by 3.5 games for that 2nd National League wildcard spot, as they are the 3rd team on the as alongside the Cardinals. They are the 2nd team on the outside looking in, as we consider the Padres and the Reds at the moment tied for that spot. But if you consider the fact that the Reds have won 1 more game and lost 1 more game as well, the Phillies are the 3rd team on the outside looking in. Jumping out to Detroit, the Detroit Tigers hosted the Tampa Bay Rays, the team that have the best record in the American League. In this matchup, the Tigers would beat the Rays 10-4 as they scored all 10 of their runs between the 5th and 8th innings. For Tampa Bay in this matchup, the start was given to Michael Wacha. He allowed 1 earned run off of 3 hits and 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss was given to the Rays' 3rd relief pitcher on the day, Pete Fairbanks. Fairbanks would allow 3 earned runs in 0.1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. With this loss, he's now 3-6 on the season. In the Rays batting lineup, their elite designated hitter, Nelson Cruz, would go 2 for 4 with a run. And then also their center fielder, Kevin Kiermaier, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run for himself. For the Detroit Tigers, the start was given to Tyler Alexander. Tyler Alexander would allow 1 earned run and 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The win was given to the Tigers' 3rd relief pitcher on the day, Jose Cisnero. Cisnero allowed 3 earned runs off of 2 hits in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. This would be his 4th blown save of the season, and with this win, he's now 4-4. In the Tigers batting lineup, their left fielder, Akil Baddoo, will go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their first baseman, Jonathan Scope, will go 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a run as he hit his 20th home run of the season. Their their future Hall of Fame designated hitter, Miguel Cabrera, will go 2 for 4. And with this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 67-75. That is the third best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 2 games. They've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 14.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 88-53. That is the best record in the American League East as well as the American League as a whole. They've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They sit 9 games ahead of the second place Boston Red Sox in their division. Right now, they're holding the number 1 seed in the American League playoff picture, sitting ahead of the 2nd seed Houston Astros leading the West, and they are sitting ahead of the 3rd seed Chicago White Sox leading the Central. Jumping out to New York, the New York Mets hosted the New York Yankees in Game 1 of the Subway Series. Game 1 would go to the New York Mets as the Mets beat the Yankees 10-3. They would score 8 of their 10 runs in the first 4 innings of the game after the Yankees held a lead following the second inning. In this matchup for the Yankees, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery allowed 7 runs in 3.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 6 before getting pulled in the 4th inning. With this loss, Jordan Montgomery is 5-6 on the year. In the Yankees batting lineup, their center fielder, Brett Gardner, went 2 for 4 with a run. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. Also, their left fielder, Joey Gallo, would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 32nd home run of the season. For the New York Mets, the start was given to their starting pitcher, Tyler McGill. Tyler McGill would allow 2 earned runs off of 4 innings pitched and 7 innings pitched as he struck out 10. With this win, he's now 3-4 on the season. And in the Mets batting lineup, their third baseman, Jonathan Villar, would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 runs on the day. Their right fielder, Michael Conforto, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their elite shortstop, Francisco Lindor, went 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 14th home run of the season. Their elite second baseman, Javier Baez, went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Also, their left fielder, Jeff McNeil, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs for himself. With this win, the New York Mets are now 71-71. That is the third best record in the National League East as they've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Atlanta Braves by 5 games in the division, and they trail the San Diego Padres by 4 games for that second National League wildcard spot. At the moment, the New York Mets are the 4th team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the New York Yankees are now 78-63. That is the third best record in the American League East. They've lost their last 7 games. That is the worst losing streak in all of baseball at the moment. And they have now also lost 8 of their last 10 as they now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 8 games in the division. Right now, they are holding on to that second American League wildcard spot, sitting 1 game behind the first place Boston Red Sox, and they sit half a game ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays, who at the moment are the first team on the outside of the American League playoff picture looking in. Jumping out to Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians hosted the Milwaukee Brewers, and in this interleague matchup, the Brewers would beat the Indians 10-3 after scoring 6 of their 10 runs in the 5th inning. For the Cleveland Indians in this matchup, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Eli Morgan. And for Eli Morgan in this matchup, looking at how the Indians fare, with this loss, Eli Morgan is now 2-7 on the season. Looking at how he fared specifically in this matchup, he would allow 8 runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, he's 2-7. In the Indians batting lineup, their first baseman, Bobby Bradley, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the win was given to their starting pitcher, Adrian Hauser. Hauser allowed 2 runs off of 1 hit in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this win, Adrian Hauser is 9-6. And in the Brewers batting lineup, their third baseman, Eduardo Escobar, would go 2 for 5 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs. He would go on to hit his 26th and 27th home runs of the season. Their right fielder, Avisail Garcia, will go 2 for 5 with a run. Their catcher, Omar Narvaez, will go 2 for 2 with 2 runs. And then their shortstop, Luis Urias, would end up going 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 20th home run of the season as well. Also, their first baseman, Rowdy Tellez, would go 2 for 4. With this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 87-55. That is the best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. The Milwaukee Brewers are sitting 12 games ahead of the second-place Cincinnati Reds in their division. Right now, they're holding on to that second seed in the National League playoff picture as they trail the first-place San Francisco Giants out west, and they sit ahead of the third seed Atlanta Braves, currently leading the East. With this loss, the Cleveland Indians are now set 69-70. That is the second best record in the American League Central, as they've lost 4 of their last 10. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 11 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Atlanta, the Atlanta Braves hosted the Miami Marlins and pulled off a 6-2 win at home after scoring 5 runs in the 5th. The Marlins would hold a 2-0 lead for the first half of the game, for what it seemed like. The Braves would bust it open and would run away with their 75th win this season. For the Miami Marlins, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Trevor Rogers. Trevor Rogers allowed 4 earned runs and 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, Trevor Rogers is 7-7 on the year. In the Marlins batting lineup, their center fielder, Brian De La Cruz, would go 2 for 4 with a run. He was not the only Marlin with more than 1 hit. The Marlins first baseman, Lewin Diaz, would go 2 for 4 as well. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and win were given to Ian Anderson. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 5 hits and 5 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this win, Ian Anderson is 7-5 on the season. In the Braves batting lineup, their elite first baseman, reigning National League MVP, Freddie Freeman, will go 2 for 4 on the day. He was the only player for the Braves that had more than 1 hit. And with this win, the Atlanta Braves are now 75-65. That is the best record in the National League East, as they've won their last 2 games and they've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the Philadelphia Phillies by 4.5 games in the division at the moment. They sit 4.5 games ahead of the Phillies. They are holding on to the 3 seed in the National League playoff picture as they sit behind the first seed San Francisco Giants leading the West. And they also sit behind the Milwaukee Brewers, who are holding that 2nd seed and leading the Central. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are now 59-82. That is the 4th best record in the National League East, as they've lost 5 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Atlanta Braves by 16.5 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Houston, the American League West leaders hosted the Los Angeles Angels. The Astros would end up beating the Angels 10-5 after scoring 9 of their 10 runs between the 3rd and 4th innings. For the Los Angeles Angels in this matchup, the loss went to their all-star starting pitcher, Shohei Ohtani. He would allow 6 earned runs and 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out a batter, and with this loss, he's 9-2. In the Angels batting lineup, their pinch-hitting shortstop, Luis Rengifo, would end up going 2 for 2 for himself. Also, their all-star first baseman, Jared Walsh, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their all-star starting pitcher, Shohei Ohtani, would go 1 for 1 with an RBI and a run as he would hit his 44th home run of the season, currently leading all of baseball. With this win, on the Astros side of things, the win went to their starting pitcher, Framber Valdez. He allowed 5 runs and 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, he's 10-5. In the Astros batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, would go 3 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs. Their designated hitter, Michael Brantley, would go 2 for 5. Their elite third baseman, Alex Bregman, would go 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. Their shortstop, Carlos Correa, would go 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run as well. With this win, the Houston Astros are now 82-58. That is the best record in the American League West, as they've won 5 of their last 10. They sit 5.5 games ahead of the Oakland Athletics and the Seattle Mariners, who are tied for the second best record in the division. They are also holding on to the 2nd seed in the American League playoff picture as they trail the 1st seed Tampa Bay Rays, and they also sit ahead of the 3rd seed Chicago White Sox for the moment. With this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are now 69-72. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10 as they now trail the Houston Astros by 13.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Kansas City Royals The Royals would end up beating the Twins 6-4 as the game would go into extra innings tied at 4. The difference would be the top of the 11th. It would be a 2-run home run from Andrew Benintendi to give the Royals their 64th win of the season. For the Minnesota Twins, the start was given to Griffin Jax. Griffin Jax allowed 4 earned runs in 6 innings as he struck out 4. The loss was given to the Twins' closer for the day, Juan Minaya. Minaya allowed 2 runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With this loss, he's now 2-1 for the Twins. In the Twins batting lineup, the only player that had more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Andrelton Simmons, as he went 2 for 3. For the Kansas City Royals, the start was given to Daniel Lynch. Daniel Lynch allowed 4 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The win was given to the Royals' setup relief pitcher, Ervin Santana. Santana allowed no earned runs in the 10th inning. With this win, he's now 2-2. The save was given to the Royals' closer for the day, Greg Holland. Holland allowed no earned runs in the 11th inning as he struck out a batter. This would be his 8th save of the season. And in the Royals batting lineup, their shortstop, Nicky Lopez, would go 2 for 5 with a run. Their left fielder, Andrew Benintendi, would go 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his 14th and 15th home runs of the season. With this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 64-77. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central as they've won their last 2 games and they've won 5 of their last 10. They trailed the Chicago White Sox by 17 games in the division. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are now 62-79. That is the worst record in the American League Central as they've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 19 games in the division at the moment. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago White Sox hosted the Boston Red Sox. In this matchup with the Sox, the White Sox would win 4-3. For the Red Sox in this matchup, the start was given to Tanner Houck. He allowed 4 runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. With his loss, Tanner Houck is 0-4. In the Red Sox batting lineup, their all-star shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, went 2 for 3. Their first baseman, Bobby Dalbec, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 21st home run of the season. And their catcher, Christian Vasquez, would go 2 for 4 with a run for himself. For the Chicago White Sox, the win went to their starting pitcher, Carlos Rodon. Rodon would allow 1 earned run off of 3 hits in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With his win, he's 12-5. The save would go to the White Sox elite closer, Liam Hendriks. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, and with this save, he now has 34 saves on the year. In the White Sox batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, but their elite first baseman, Jose Abreu, would go 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run as he hit his 29th home run of the season. This will come in the 3rd inning. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are now 81-60. That is the best record in the American League Central as they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They are now sitting 11 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Indians in their division, and they are holding on to the 3rd seed in the American League playoff picture, sitting behind the 1st seed Tampa Bay Rays out east, and they also sit behind the Houston Astros leading out west. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are now 80-63. That is the 2nd-best record in the American League East as they've lost 5 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 9 games in the division as they are holding on to that top American League wildcard spot, sitting 1 game ahead of the 2nd-place New York Yankees at the moment right now. Jumping out to St. Louis, the St. Louis Cardinals hosted their division rivals, the the Cincinnati Reds. The Cincinnati Reds would end up beating the Cardinals 4-2 after they scored their last 2 runs on the top of the 9th to break this tie. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start was given to John Lester. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits and 7 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The loss was given to the Cardinals closer for the day, TJ Mcfarland. McFarland would allow 2 earned runs in the 9th inning as he was unable to strike out a batter, but with this loss, he's now 3-1. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their future Hall of Famer Yadier Molina went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 11th home run of the year. For the Cincinnati Reds, the start was given to Tyler Mahle. He allowed 2 earned runs on the day as he was able to he pitched 6 innings. He would strike out 6. The win would go to the Reds' 2nd relief pitcher on the day, Michael Lorenzen. Lorenzen would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. With his win, he's now 1-2. The save was given to the Reds closer for the day, Michael Givens. Givens allowed no earned runs in the ninth inning as he struck out 2. This would be his 7th save of the year. In the Reds batting lineup, their elite third baseman Eugenio Suarez went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 26th home run of the season. Their shortstop for the day, Jose Barrero, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And their future Hall of Fame first baseman, Joey Votto, would go 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run as he would hit his 30th home run of the season. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 75-67. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They've won 4 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 12 games in the division. And they are now trailing the San Diego Padres they are sitting about even with the San Diego Padres for that second National League wildcard spot, as they now trail the Padres. They have one more win and one more loss, so they sit behind the Padres, and they sit 14 games behind the first place LA Dodgers and sit 3 games ahead of the next team on the outside, the St. Louis Cardinals. With this loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 71-69. That is the third best record in the National League Central. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 15 games in the division, as they now trail the Cincinnati Reds and the San Diego Padres by 3 games in the wild card. They are the second team on the outside looking in at the moment. Jumping out to Oakland, the Oakland Athletics hosted the Texas Rangers and pulled off an 8-5 win at home after scoring 6 of their 10 runs in the second inning. For the Texas Rangers, the loss was given to their starting pitcher for the day, and the starting pitcher for Tampa Bay was Glenn Otto. Otto allowed 8 earned runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, he's 0-1. In the Rangers batting lineup, their center fielder, Leody Taveras, would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Additionally, their right fielder, Adolis Garcia, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. For the Oakland Athletics, the start was given to Paul Blackburn. Paul Blackburn allowed 4 earned runs in 2.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The win was given to the Athletics' first relief pitcher on the day, Deolis Guerra. Guerra would allow no earned runs in 2.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. He would finish the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings for Oakland. With this win, he's now 4-1 on the season. In the A's batting lineup, their center fielder, Starling Marte, went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Additionally, their first baseman, Matt Olson, went 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs as well. Also, their left fielder, Tony Kemp, would go 3 for 5 with 2 runs. Their catcher, Sean Murphy, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. And their shortstop, Elvis Andrus, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are now 77-64. They are tied with the Seattle Mariners for the second best record in the American League West. The A's have now won their last 3 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 5.5 games in the division. And alongside the Mariners, they now trail the New York Yankees by 1 game on the outside of the American League wild card looking in. The A's, alongside the Mariners, are the second team on the outside looking in, as they also trail the Toronto Blue Jays as well. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 51-89. That is the worst record in the American League West and the second worst record in the American League. They've lost 4 of their last 10 games as they now trail the Houston Astros by 31 games in the division. And also, the Texas Rangers are one of 2 teams in the American League who have been eliminated from playoff contention alongside the Baltimore Orioles. Jumping out to LA, the reigning World Series champs, LA Dodgers, hosted the San Diego Padres. And in the matchup between the 2 top seeds in the National League wild card, the Dodgers would beat the Padres 3-0, as the Padres had 2 more hits than the Dodgers did. For the Padres in this matchup, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Joe Musgrove. He allowed 3 earned runs off of 4 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this loss, he's 10-9 on the season. In the Padres batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Fernando Tatis Jr., will go 2 for 4. Also, their all-star second baseman, Adam Frazier, will go 2 for 3 as well. For the defending champs, LA Dodgers, the win went to their starting pitcher, Julio Urias. Urias would allow no earned runs off of 3 hits and 7 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, he's now 17-3 on the year, and the save would go to the Dodgers closer, Kenley Jansen. Jansen allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, and he would pick up his 31st save of the season. In the Dodgers batting lineup, nobody on the team had more than 1 hit. However, their all-star first baseman Max Muncy would go 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 32nd home run of the season. With this win, the defending champs LA Dodgers are now 89-53. That is the second best record in the National League West, and actually win percentage-wise, they have the second best record in all of baseball at the moment. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 2.5 games in the division, and they are sitting 14 games ahead of the second seed in the National League wild card, the San Diego Padres, as the Dodgers are sitting comfortably with that top spot. And with this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 74-66. That is the third best record in the National League West, as they've lost 5 of their last 10 games. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 16.5 games in the division. They trail the LA Dodgers by 14 games for that first wild card spot, and they have 1 less win and 1 less loss than the Cincinnati Reds. So they are sitting even with the Reds, but the Padres have that first, or they are currently sitting in that spot. Right now, the Reds are sitting even with them, even though they are the first team on the outside looking in. Last but not least, jumping out to Seattle, the Seattle Mariners were able to beat the Arizona Diamondbacks that could pull 1 game closer to the American League wildcard spot. The Mariners would beat the Diamondbacks 5-4. For the Diamondbacks, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Madison Bumgarner. Madison Bumgarner would allow 5 earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, he's now 7-10 on the season. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and that would be attributed to great pitching from Seattle. For the Mariners, the win went to their starting pitcher, Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez allowed no earned runs. He would allow 3 runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this win, he's now 8-5 on the season, and the save would go to the Mariners closer, Drew Steckenrider. Steckenrider would allow no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out all 3 of the batters he faced. He picked up his 8th save of the season, and in the Mariners batting lineup, their designated hitter, Luis Torrens, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. Also, their catcher, Todd Murphy, would go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 10th and 11th home runs of the season for Seattle. With this win, the Mariners are now 77-64. That is the third best record. They are tied with the A's for the second best record in the American League West, actually. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10, as they now trail the Houston Astros by 5.5 games in the division. And alongside the A's, the Mariners are the second team on the outside looking in, as they also trail the Yankees as a total by 1 game in the wild card, and they sit they are the second team on the outside looking in, as the Blue Jays are also sitting ahead of the A's and the Mariners at the moment. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 45-96. That is the worst record in the National League West, the worst record in the National League, and that is the worst record in all of baseball at the moment. They've lost their last 6 games, and they've lost 9 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 46 games in the division, which is the gap between the best and worst teams in baseball at the moment. And they are also one of 2 teams who are eliminated from playoff contention in the National League, as they and the Pirates can no longer compete to earn a spot in the playoffs this year. That is what the MLB is looking following yesterday's matchups, and then looking at what was going on yesterday in soccer. Not much going on. As we transition into what's going on today, there's going to be a lot of soccer going on today, and once all of those matchups are finished, I will come back tomorrow on Sunday, September 12th, for another episode of The Elite. So until then, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to my piece. I hope all is well. And once all of today's matchups and episodes are done, I'll come back with another episode tomorrow. So until then, thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and I'll catch you with another episode then. Until then, peace, and thanks for listening to my episode. Thanks for listening to my piece, and peace out.